Let's talk TBR. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, yes, you heard right, we're going to be doing a TBR, which I have not done in quite a while. I decided to move a few months ago into kind of more mood reading, and I've realized though that I've still had so many like review copies, buddy reads, that kind of thing, that it's essentially not, I have done very little of the actual mood reading. I've done a couple things here and there that I wanted to throw in, but it's been nice because since I have so many physical books I've needed to read, I've thrown in a few more on like Kindle or audio as kind of the miscellaneous stuff. But I was looking at just kind of my plans for the rest of this year and probably going into next year a little bit as well. And so I thought, well, why not? Let's do a winter TBR and talk about all the kind of things that I have coming up, some of which I'll definitely be reading, and then a few in here that I'm planning to get to, but all of it we'll get to definitely at some point. So first, let's talk the ongoing things I have. Now, I'm filming this a bit before it's going to actually come out, so some of these should hopefully already be done, but as of filming, I'm still reading the Voidwalker collection by Derek Bailey, which is a review copy, and I am halfway through this. It's a collection of 8 novellas, so I've been kind of reading a novella, reading some other stuff coming back, doing it kind of episodically, so I should actually hopefully be done with this by the time this video comes out, but we will see. And then I should definitely be done with Ships and Marrier by the time this comes out. I took a break once I finished part 1, and so I have the part 2, which is slightly shorter, left to go. So once I finish that though, definitely we'll be moving on to The Fugitive Prince. And The Fugitive Prince, I definitely want to finish by year end. I'll have to see if I get the next book after that done. I was trying to stick with a book of these a month, but they're big and dense, and so to allow me to finish some other books, I have been taking it pretty slow with this, but I've really been enjoying taking my time here as well. So there's also, of course, the book that won a poll that I did back in August that I still need to get to, which is The Curse of Chalian by Lois Master Bugel. This I will be reading very soon. It's possible I'll have already started it when this video comes out, because this did win and I want to make sure that I get to this, even though I have a lot of other things that I'm reading as well. I am really excited to try out Lois Master Bugel. I've heard a lot of interesting things from the people, which are not that many, that I know who have read Bugel, and I think this is really going to be an author in a series that's going to be up my alley, so I'm really interested to try that one out as well. So then we have the buddy reads, which there's the ongoing buddy read for Wheel of Time first, which in November and December will be Winter's Heart and Crossroads at Twilight, ending the year on a high note, right? At least at least on its Knife of Dreams in January to kick things back up. But so of course we'll be doing that. We're set to finish up in April, I think. Is what it is. Yeah, April will be the last book, A Memory of Light. So I'm really excited. I've been enjoying the heck out of my reread of The Wheel of Time, and so it was just nice to kind of finally get that slotted in. I'd wanted to do a reread for a while, but there's so many other things to read, but I'm glad taking the time with those. And then the the buddy read that I kind of got behind on, which was Earthsea. Now technically, we planned to do the first 3 and then kind of just see from there from going, but I was planning on doing the first 6 and or just reading this whole thing. So right now I've read the first 3, and if you can see that mark here, I still have quite a lot left. I'd like to continue this and kind of be reading these here and there. So I have Tahanu is up next, and then I think Tales from Earthsea, and I don't remember what the next book is after that. But anyway, so planning to still continue on that. I know others have passed me easily on that because they're not very long either, but I've been a little slow with that one as well. And then coming up, a couple of other buddy reads that I plan to join in. So starting in November, Jake the Bookish Drummer is doing a buddy read for the Song of the Shattered Sands. This is actually book 2 because I have, I think, every book in this series except for the first one that I've collected. So I was planning on jumping in. I'll have to get the first book yet still, even though it's supposed to start this month because I don't have it. So I'll need to get the first book and then I'll be able to jump in with this one. But I've over time collected most of these books, and so I figure I probably should actually start reading them and determine if it's going to be for me even, so I'm planning to jump in there. And then the Happened by Fun Happenstance, going to be starting in December, the Rune Lord series by David Farland. Now this is book 3. because I have books like 3, 4, 5, and 7, I think, is what I have of this one, also that I've just randomly collected. The audio for this is all available, included with an Audible membership, though, so I plan on kind of hybrid reading. I would like to get the books that the first couple that I don't have physical as well, but worst case I have that, so definitely really excited to get to these two. Just those really cool old school fantasy covers, and this seems like it's going to be kind of a strange series, so I'm really interested to try it out. So that's kind of what's going on in the buddy read space. So I also do have quite a few review copies that I still am planning to get to, which some of these will definitely be before year end, and others will almost certainly be into next year. And so some of these are official review copies where they specifically asked, and I said, yeah, I'll do that, and they sent the book. And I have a few too that were just authors that sent over to me that I definitely want to get to as well. I still generally consider those review copies, even though like we didn't talk about it beforehand, because like you sent me your book, clearly you're wanting me to review it, but those ones are going to go below the other ones where I specifically accept them. So for those, we have several things. First, we got Blood of the Spear by Mark Timoney, and this one also, there's a good chance I might have actually finished by the time this video comes out, because I'm planning on starting it very soon. I'm really excited to get to this one. I just love this physical book too. Really, really beautiful. Really, really excited to read this one. So that one I may have already done. And then the next one, which is one of the last ones I specifically accepted a review request for, is the Tome of Heron. This is by Damian Francis, book 1 of the Keeper Chronicles, and this is a tome, all right. This is like almost 600 pages, and it has very small print. So this one's probably going to take me a little bit, but this one I'll be looking to get to here very soon, either later November or early December, hopefully, for this one. Additionally, an e-review copy that was sent to me is 12 Blades in Contempt, and this one's pretty short, and so I'll be planning to get to it really soon. The physical book of this one is very beautiful. It's one where I'm not sure if it's going to be for me or not, based on some of the comparisons that were made, because I really am not a fan of one of the comparisons, don't think I like the other, and I'm like middling on the other. So I'm like, oh, I wasn't really sure. But they sent me an ebook to try that way, and I'm like, okay, that probably is good. That way, you know, I'm not specifically having somebody send me a book where I'm not sure if I'm going to like, but I'm interested to try, and it's really short, so that one should be easier to fit in as well. So another one where I could potentially already have finished that by the time this video comes out, but you'll find out in the reviews from there. And then otherwise, the review copies that I have otherwise are Becoming a Druid by Mike Malman. This author sent me the first 2 books in their series, and I didn't actually realize that they sat in my P.O. box for a really long time. Tome of Heron did too. That one was on me, though. This one I just didn't realize was there. So they sent me the first 2 of these, and they're also not super long, which is nice, because when I have shorter books, I can just throw in, and it's always great. So I'll plan on working on that one as well. We have the Nicholas Raven and the Wizard's Web trilogy, which is technically it's like 3 volumes of the same story is how it's stated, but there's a lot of page count to this one, and this is by Thomas J. Prostopnik, also an author who had just sent me his 3 books. I hadn't talked to before. I included a letter. It's at least everybody's been good so far about including a letter or something if they just send me the book without me knowing about it. But so this is another one where this is going to take me a while to get through. I'd like to at least read the first book this winter as well, so still planning on trying to get to that and see how it goes. It's when I read up on it before, it did sound pretty interesting. And then we have Wistful Ascending by JCM Byrne, which I've been hearing a lot about in our Discord. Andrew mentioned it, and a lot of other people I know have really been enjoying it. And this is a sci-fi with kind of like a superhero type of feel from what I've heard around. This one was actually really funny because I had this on my wish list, and the author saw it on my wish list and bought it off my wish list for me. So I don't think I've ever had that happen before, but it was pretty funny that they happened to see it and buy it on my wish list. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also one I'd like to get to this winter and go through. So as you can see, like I talked about buddy reads and some other things, but it's the review copies that are definitely going to take some time for me to get through. There were also a couple of new releases books that I will be reading this month as well, probably right when they come out, which include The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. Of course, I've been doing the reread of Era 2, which has been going really well, and I'm really excited to get to this one. I'll be, as soon as I get it, reading it, and should finish it in a day or two, because normally Stormlight used to take me 3 to 4, and I think it up to like 5 or 6 for Rhythm of War, because it was a long one. I came in the middle of the week, and it wasn't a great time for reading. Yeah, so I should be reading Lost Metal pretty quick, and actually it comes out before Lost Metal, I think, is Origins of the Wheel of Time, which I'm really excited about. I was skeptical about this at first, and then I read some of the stuff that the author put out through Tor, and it just sounds really great. It just sounds like somebody who's a really big fan, has done all of this research, and I'm really excited because I can always dig more into the Wheel of Time, and so this will be a great excuse to dig more in, talk about it. There's also a really good chance I end up making some videos talking about different parts of this as well, depending on if there's things that I want to discuss more, so could have that as well. So those are kind of some of the bigger things, and then a couple of other honorable mentions of books that I also really want to get to include. This is A Prelude to Ashes by Tiago Abdallah, and A Touch of Light is the full book. I have A Touch of Light on my Kindle, and then I have this copy I got from Andrew, which is the prequel. I'm planning to read this first because this is really short and will just be a nice way to kind of whet my appetite with it. I wanted to get to this a while ago, but I just had been kind of backed up. So this isn't a review copy. It's just I've had the ebook for a while, and then Andrew gave me this, and I've talked to Tiago in Discord and everything too, so really interested to try this series. And then I also recently got, because I didn't even realize it was out, the Oleander Sword by Tasha Suri, which is the sequel to The Jasmine Throne. The Jasmine Throne was one of the earlier e-arcs I did, which was kind of a different thing and a surprise for me, and I wasn't super high on the first book. There was a lot that I liked with it, though, and I was really interested to see where the world went, and so I picked up when I was randomly at Barnes & Noble. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know the sequel to this was out. So I'll plan to get to this at some point too, just because I'm really curious. The first book did stick with me with a lot of the world building, and so I'm really interested to see where this one comes out from there. So that's another possible honorable mention. Now I could go over again. I'll link to my my MBR video I did a while back because I still haven't read most of it. Like I said, I've actually gotten very little of the mood reading done, just because I've had still a ton of things that I have needed to read, which includes all of this, and I've gotten through a lot of review copies. I feel like August and September, especially, like from then on, I've had so many review copies, and so I just determined I needed to slow down, and it's at this point too, I'm not planning on accepting any more for at least the rest of this year, because I already have some books that have been sent to me that I don't think I'll get to this year, and it'll have to be like early next year. But at the same time, it's been really cool having authors reach out and reading all of these different books. And I've tried a lot of books that I may have not tried otherwise because authors have reached out. So it's been still really cool going through all of this and just getting to read all of these different things. So it's been a pretty good time. And so it's still weird to me that authors will reach out and ask me to read their books, but it's the coolest thing. It still remains the coolest thing. So been pretty great. But as you can see, I have quite a lot planned for winter. There will definitely be books that I read that are outside of this, because I am trying to get back into throwing some random things in, because that was my plan to wrap out the year. But there are so many things specifically that I'm planning to read in the winter season, so I figured I would make this video and talk. And considering this is going to be an almost 15-minute video talking about my TBR for the next couple of months, obviously it made sense to do it. So those are some things. But let me know if any of these, if you've read or are planning on reading as well, if you're going to be joining any of the buddy reads that I mentioned, as well as if you've got any specific plans for the next couple of months, or like the winter season in general, things that you're going to be reading as well. I'm always interested to hear about that. Otherwise, make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Duet Discord if you want to chat books with any of these mountain of books, other books, any books, or really anything at all. It is a lot of fun, and we would love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.